Aloha, Real Trash Podcast. People, thank you for being back on another episode of the Real Trash Podcast. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. It is October the 13th. It is Sunday, y'all. I am putting this episode late out tonight. Um, because Yes, but welcome to the Real Trash Podcast. My name is Noah James. I am from Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii, the little island of Oahu. Welcome to the Real Trash Podcast, where everybody is welcome to my podcast, no matter if you're gay, straight, whatever you are, bisexual, whatever. You are welcome to my podcast. We talk about trashy subjects from politics to Disney news, even through my weekly updates and how my week is. And I get to vent to you, and you get to listen, and you are the counselor, and I'm the patient. um, I'm so excited that we get to be with each other, and we might even talk about subjects that, we're just talking about trashy subjects that we need to talk about that are concerning to me. Any kind of subject, I like to be on this Real Trash podcast. But the number one subject I like to talk on my Real Trash podcast, and the Real Trash podcast I like to talk about, the number one thing I like to talk about every time on my podcast is the most important one, is disabilities. I've had disabilities my whole life. I've had hard of hearing. Since the day I came out of my mother's stomach in 1998. That's when I was diagnosed with hard of hearing. And yes, so I know sign language too. I have a deaf friend that I sign to all the time. And then I was diagnosed with autism later on in my years, 2014. Um, and yeah, autistic spectrum. And then I have intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities. So there might be some more attention in learning things on how I might need extra people to do note taking for me so I can focus on the interpreter when I'm watching the interpreter and the instructor. Or maybe I need more help on my desk. So there's just different subjects that I need to do. You might need extra help, but that doesn't mean you can't do things, right? Um, so yeah, and so I want to tell you guys, not everybody in the disabled community is like me, happy um, to be able to be disabled, but also, I go through things every day, but that doesn't mean I can still have a little positivity in my life, right? Or more than enough positivity. Okay. And doesn't matter because, maybe everybody, we'll get into that actually next. But yeah, so welcome. As you know, that I am from Honolulu, Hawaii, the island of Oahu. And yes, you guys, we are going to be getting into this. We are 3 weeks away. If we took this week away, it would be 2 weeks until Election Day. And we could figure out on November 5th who the presidential nominee of the President of the United States will be on November 5th. And so this week has been pretty crazy. As I got to see Kamala Harris again this week. Also, there's been a few events that I've been to this week. And the most important events that I would tell you about that is very serious to my concern is that men voters. I think that not just white men, not just African American men, it's all men notice it because they can't take that control and give it to a woman. And so that's a concerning thing to me, right? Especially when we talk about we shouldn't have government telling what a woman to do with the rights of their body. And so I don't understand, and I think this is the trashy subject. We need to throw this in the trash, especially for men to be able to control the decision of a woman's body that's not even getting pregnant, okay, that has to carry the baby. This is the job of a woman to decide what they want to do with their body, not the man to decide to do what they want to do with the body. Now, and this is very, and I hope that men will come along. And I know they don't want to see a woman come because they have so much control. And I listen to men, and thankfully that I've been around men that some men that will let a woman be a president of the United States or let a woman choose the right to do what they want to do with their body and let them talk to their pastor, priest, whatever it is, go talk to them about what they're doing with these things. And I will stand up for this. And, I am a man myself, and I will stand up to any man that comes against a woman's right to do what they need to do. They didn't have the right to vote before men. They're still struggling on trying to get the same pay for people in sports. They don't get the same pay as men. And tell you, the women play very good in sports too, okay? And I think some women would beat men in sports, okay, if they had the chance to do it. And I don't know, men don't believe that, but I do believe that. Now, yeah. So it's just this subject and listening to stories from women that had no access to abortion care or had to flee to another state to get abortion access but didn't make it in time, so they died. This is the kind of sickness I'm talking about. In that women, and I listen to men a lot. I listen to men a lot, and I can hear like the sense that I hear with when I know you're gonna control the woman. I know the sense. I know it. I can feel it. I know. I don't know if some of you guys have that kind of sense, but I know when they're controlling, and I know when they cannot let that control go away to let the women do what they need to do, right? And it can come straight from a vote for the woman president, right? To abortion access and what they need to do with their body. That's very serious to me. That's a concern to me. Um, and I will continue to fight, and that's why I've been showing it. And thank you for people that have been watching my reels, my YouTube videos. I know I've had YouTube videos out. And yeah, I also, it's just, it's very frustrating to me to see this. And I will continue to do what I need to do to fight for this because I started with the Joe Biden campaign. I started when Arizona pulled back on Roe versus Wade here. I would never thought this would happen here. But this is Arizona. Like I said, I've always felt different here, and I felt weird here, and I knew this, I knew there was something here that was that would happen. Um, but luckily, we have it on the ballot to um, get this solidified um, on abortion access for women, so people don't have to go to another state. And I'll tell you this: Hawaii had the first legalized state for abortion, and we've never had to worry about this. I've never had to think about this. Now, I don't know what my mother was thinking. I don't know what women have to go through. And that's their thing, right? And so it's not my problem to know what the woman's doing with their body. I always tell them, I tell people, I don't care what the woman does. I just want to make sure they're okay when they get out of the doctors and they're okay. But I don't need to know your business. Now, I don't know I don't know what it is with men, but they have that kind of control, even with a vote. Okay. Um, but yeah, so that's one thing. This week I saw Doug Emhoff. He was okay. His music was not as good as Kamala Harris's music when you go to the rallies. So I saw him. Um, And then the 2 days I've been on the women's reproductive rights, I also saw Tina Luen. I can't say her last name, but she's a famous TV star model. She models through the Paris Fashion Week. She models in New York. She lives in New York. She had an Asian show with all these other rich Asians on a Netflix show in California. And I told her, I said, I'm very appreciative of her, because, yeah, she is an inspiration. She really is for the Asian community, and I hope that if you're out there with the race of Asians and you get the hate crimes of Asian, yes, remember that you are still valid. Did you hear that? You are still valid. And I want you to know that. 110%, 120%, 1,000%, million%. I need to tell you this, that you do matter. I've faced this a lot in my life. And yeah, I've faced a lot of racism with the Asian eyes. People say, oh, you have such squinky eyes. You should go back to China. And it's just, it's gotten worse because of Donald Trump's mouth. And yeah, so that's another thing. It's so trashy that people want to take my race and tease me for that. I also get the comment like fag a lot. I get that a lot because I have a high voice. And that's another, the LGBTQ plus. They do not let people disqualify you. They go, fag, fag, fag. I get that a lot. like, I'm like, and they just, anything I do, anything I dance, I walk, they just assume I'm a fag or whatever. So they say fag. And so I just laugh it off because why am I gonna let negativity come into my life like that? Um, but yeah, it's very crucial, you guys. Yeah, this week has been pretty hectic. Um, I got to the Women Reproductive Rights bus tour came. I saw Dr. Joe Biden. Oh my god, it is so nice to see her in person. Like, that is so cool. Like, I'm like, wow, that's Dr. Joe Biden. Yeah, that's so cool. And then there was a Kamala Harris rally. That was so awesome. It was full. It was hot. Okay, it was it was hot. I'll tell you that for sure. Um, but I enjoyed the whole rally. Okay, and Kamala Harris had what is it called? I was that close. Okay, it was so close, and I want people to realize this too, that when you go out into the world, it's better to teach your kids inside the world. I mean, inside your house, because there's different things in the world when you go out of the house, right? And so I always say this, that it is very important that we teach our kids what we need to teach them inside the house, so they know when we go out of the house. I want to say that again. So if you have kids, that you know that you teach them inside the house, so they know what to do when they go outside of the house. Because the world is different, and it's people need to learn. They need to learn. Um, yeah. So let's just say this. Kamala Harris will be a great president of the United States, and I know that for sure. But we still have work to do, and I will not let down right now and say that she is president of the United States, because it has not happened yet. It was too early when we said that the last time, when Hillary Clinton, we thought she was going to win. So no, we cannot think that right now. Okay. So we have lots of work to do. Whatever you can do to help, please do it. And thank you. Thank you. Um, so on the side note of this, whatever I'm doing, I've seen a lot of people, and I also don't get discouraged when I see big figures, right? I don't get discouraged because I didn't handshake Kamala Harris's hand, because I know she's another human, and I know she's another person, and she has things too, right? Everybody has something. And so was so glad to be there in the front of the presence was great. So I want people to realize that. And it might be one, and I don't know, hundreds of a chance you get to see that person all the time. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that I got to see her twice. But yeah, it's amazing. Also, on the side note, let's push this away. Let woo right now. Um, and let's go to my life. My life has been crazy. So what I'm talking about. People are still gambling in my house, of course, right? People are. Jeez, like I'm like, really. I've heard some stories um, from my family. Maybe I'll tell them later, or maybe I'll even have my grandmother on a podcast episode. You know what? I might do that, because that might be even better. And I'll have to see how that works. So we'll have to have her on an episode one day. Um, to have her on here just to talk. Um, but yeah, I got to see my grandmother this week. I also, you know, we've been dealing with eviction notices. We're always dealing with that every single month. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me, I had to burp, yo. You know how much it takes a toll on you when you have to think about doing this other stuff on the side. Plus, you're trying to deal with your own household. And if you just told them, this is not right, I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're still complaining to you over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And they're saying, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And they keep on complaining to you about it. It's like I've already explained it how many times and you still don't understand why this happened. And you know what? There's things that happen for a reason, and so you let them be. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Eviction. So who knows? I could be homeless. I don't know. That's another subject. Like what's the same old, right? Um, so there was another subject. Somebody said something, and people don't like to get into politics because of their mental or mental health. And they don't like that because the mental health can get worse. And somebody else said something, and I agree 100% with what the other person said because, you know, it's great that that person brought up the mental health aspect too because that is great. And anybody that says that they don't deal, let's just say this right here. Anybody that says that they don't deal with mental health in their lives is not right because everybody has something with their life they have to deal with mental health. Okay? And so there is people out there that do not believe in mental health. And um so it could be from the president to the vice president of the United States. Everybody deals with it. But they know, there's certain aspects that you can deal with your mental health. And there's a counselor. If you want a counselor, you can do that. And if you don't want one, that's fine. But do not expect this other person to think, or don't expect something that will change somebody's mind that people that are actually trying to help their mental health every day to get stronger with the resources they need. You cannot badger them. And I know there's people out there like that will do that because they have people out there that want to. Even counselors, they badge. And I know that's the truth. And maybe they don't even have mental health. Maybe they don't have help. So I stress that enough that don't think that anybody that's doing politics, so I don't know, a famous actor, they don't deal with these things. Every day people deal with mental health problems. And I stress that a lot. But all these people that had mental health problems that had to fight to get the right to vote, women's right to vote, women's reproductive rights. These people have mental health issues and they're still out there trying to fight for problems, right? So I want to know that too. And I was just thanking that girl that brought it up because, yeah, a lot of Asians like to, I would tell you, a lot of Asians like to disengage and no news and no this stuff, no politics. But that's how our world is. And that's how America is. You do not have to be involved if you don't want to. But I will tell you, all these people that did fight for our rights. This is why we get to do what we get to do every single 4 years, or, when we have local elections too, we get to vote. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Pretty soon it's Halloween. Ha 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 ha. It is Halloween, 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 Halloween. It is Halloween, 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 Halloween. You know what that's from? Haunted Mansion and this Disney. It is Halloween, 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 Halloween. It is Halloween, 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 Halloween. Yeah. But yes. But thank you so much for everybody for watching this episode. Early voting already started in Arizona. So thank you so much for everybody that's watched my Real Trash podcast, from my reels to my watching, looking at my posts, from watching my YouTube videos. I thank you so much. And at the end of my YouTube videos of the Real Trash podcast, I always say this at the end. Ahui ho, and always be yourself. Real Trash Podcast or Ohana Angel. Love y'all, and I will see you on the next episode. Love y'all, and have a great week, y'all. Love y'all. Bye. See you later. It is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. It is Halloween, Halloween. Halloween's getting closer. It is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.